Hey there, welcome to the REI Conversion Podcast, where each episode we discuss strategies and digital tools to help you launch, automate, and scale your real estate investing business. Learn how to run your investing business remotely, find out ways to automate your business to better utilize your time, and learn what other successful investors are implementing so you can get to the next step closer to your investing goals. And I'm your host and founder of REI Conversion, Jesse Kwong. Hey, how's it going? This is Jesse here at REI Conversion. Today, I've got a very successful land investor with me here on the show, as well as an educator in the space. You guys probably have heard of him and his team. I'm going to be bringing on Willie G of Land Investing Pros. And we're going to be talking all about creating your sales funnel today. But before we get to that, I wanted to let you know that if you haven't already checked it out, the REI Conversion Resource Library, is a vault of scripts, templates, and strategy guides, most of them that are going along with past episodes of the podcast. And it's a completely free resources that a lot of these guests help put together. In fact, today's episode with Willie here, he'll also be including a guide from the Land Investing Pros team. And really, it's just a snippet of what they're doing inside of their education platform. So we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later, but if you're interested and you want to just get access now, you can head over. It's free. It's resource.reiconversion.com. Again, check out the scripts, templates, and guides that will help you shortcut a lot of the hard lessons from successful investors. All right, so I'm going to bring Willie in here. Hey, Willie, how's it going?
Hey, Jesse, I'm doing very well. How are you?
Good. I'm super excited to talk to you about sales funnel, some of the automation stuff. It's something that I'm always super pumped about and something that I push a lot with people that are using our websites. So like every episode, we're just going to jump right into it. And Willie, I mean, the last time I had you on my show, actually, just a little backstory, you went away for a little while, and I had you on this show maybe last year, and I know it was super helpful. So it's awesome to have you back, and it sounds like you guys are scaled up completely and also taking on new things as well with Land Investing Pros, right?
Yeah. So I stepped back for a little bit to focus on the land business itself, and we've developed a lot of new systems, hired a lot of people, put a lot of things in place that I didn't previously have, and so we've scaled it pretty dramatically compared to what it was before. Yeah. And so now we've hired everyone, put everyone in place, and now we've got some more time, and we're able to kind of get back to the coaching a little bit. And so we put together a new comprehensive course and just revamped everything, added a lot more content. And so I mean, that's where we are today, and really excited with now what we have to offer, and with our new business, and everything's going really, really well. So
awesome.
Lots has changed since we last talked.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. Let's first of all talk about the sales funnel. What is a sales funnel essentially? How would you sort of describe that in the most basic of terms?
Yeah, so from our perspective, in the land framework, it's kind of, I mean, we get leads coming from various sources. They could come from Facebook, they could come from Lands of America, they come from wherever, and you're driving all that traffic to pretty much your funnel. And your funnel really starts with your website and capturing leads. So you drive traffic to your funnel. You need some way of capturing leads, email leads, and that's the primary source of leads from our perspective. And so you start to build that list, that email list, that buyers list, and then you're really just trying to build trust with customers and remarket properties and remarket listings. And through that process over time, you're going to start to get a lot of customers from your sales funnel because you've remarketed, because you've built trust, and you've done things to now a customer's willing to kind of give you a credit card, and they find a property that eventually that they're interested in, and you're able to convert a heck of a lot more leads because you have a more built out framework. But it all starts with a website and lead capture, and just building trust and nurturing those leads from there.
Yeah, and I like that a lot. I mean, this is what you guys talk about, and I think even the first time I heard about you, I heard that you are a huge system guys and funnel guy, and using email to a huge advantage. And I think a lot of people that are selling land out there, they're really not. I mean, I don't want to say everybody, but a huge percentage is sort of just, here it is, here's my property, buy it type of thing. And the thing is, a lot of these leads or people that are interested on purchasing are just not ready to purchase, whether it's they don't, it's not just the right timing for them. It's not the right property. They don't have trust in you yet. So this is more of a almost a long-term, not a long-term strategy, but it is a strategy that takes a little bit more time than just, hitting them with an ad and hoping that they'll buy, right? This is a sort of a process that you guys have in place.
Right. And so, I mean, I think the biggest thing that you said it right there is people are not ready to buy right away or when you want them to buy. They're ready to buy when they're ready to buy.
Yep.
And so if you're kind of just like, I know some people who kind of suggest post on Craigslist, post on Zillow, wherever, post on Facebook, and just have your ads there. But you're really missing a lot of leads, a ton of leads, and you're losing people. If you don't have a funnel, you're not capturing all the leads you can and building that list, which is really where all the power is in that list. And then it's from there, how convincing are you? How well do you build trust and do that kind of thing? So yeah. I think that was well said.
Yeah. And it takes time to do all of that too. And it's funny once and then what we're going to talk about this is when you sort of set it up, it's sort of a process that runs on its own and you don't need to worry about it, which is the beauty of it. Yes, there's a little bit of legwork to get things set up, but it's really not too bad. So, I mean, for all you guys listening, funnel is essentially that. I mean, it's a bigger opening at the top, so you'll try to get as much as you can and then drive them down that funnel where the funnel gets more narrow and eventually get them to purchase a property from you. Some people call it warming up your leads from cold to hot until they're ready to purchase land from you guys. So can you sort of tell us in very sort of a overview, how does that look like in sort of a step-by-step process? Sort of an overview, top view type of thing. How does that all look like with a sales funnel?
Yeah. So from our perspective, from the land business, I guess it's just, like I said, filtering. So starting at the top, you get your traffic from some sources, like I just mentioned, the Facebook, the Craigslist, the Zillows, sending it to your website, and then capturing the email, capturing the lead. And then from there, it's really a follow-up sequence. And so that we have an automated email sequence for like once we capture the lead, it gets sent to Mailchimp. Mailchimp sends out, we've got like a 5-day email sequence, and that email sequence sends them an email right away, welcome to the buyer's list. And then from there, it keeps spitting out emails each day for, call it a week or so, just building trust and telling people more about our company and more about the process and what it's like to work with us and who our team is and that kind of thing, just so they get to know us. And then from there, we continue to nurture those leads by just sending, at that point, we start to send more offers, more offer-based emails. So we'll have like a deal of the week. We'll have new properties that we got in our inventory, that kind of thing. And so it's pretty systematic. We warm them up with that email sequence, that auto email sequence. And then from there, it's ongoing emails that are not automatic, but they're related to our inventory and what we have on the market and what special deals we might have. And we also try to make it pretty exclusive. So the people on that list think it's, I'm getting a special deal. This is only getting sent to me because I joined their buyer's list, that kind of thing. And it's a lot of things. So, I mean, that's really the basis of it. But there's a bit more to it. Like, I mean, the website is so critical in terms of the building trust piece and kind of what you put on there. And but I think that's pretty basic kind of what our sales funnel looks like and how we kind of maneuver it.
Yeah. And Willie and his team over at Land Investing Pros, they've been kind enough to put together sort of almost literally a step-by-step of what kind of emails go out there. And some of the topics here and some of the things that you have here, and we'll just kind of go through this afterwards, but you've talked about 5 different emails on this list here that I'm looking at. Is there one that sort of that stands out or is there a reason why you picked these emails? Did you do any testing with it, or how should I say this? With all these emails that you have here, the ones that you just mentioned, like you're building trust. You're talking about how your business works. One of your emails here is no liens guaranteed. Is there any of these emails that sort of does better than others, or sort of stands out from others in terms of maybe people reply to them or anything like that? Anything sort of standing out of the normal here?
So to be honest, I haven't looked too much into the analytics on which email in that sequence performs the best. What I would say for us is that we sell a lot through owner financing and in that, like, from our land business, that is really one of the biggest hooks that to get people in. And so I would say from our email sequence, no credit checks, like in the headline, you are approved, something like that,
Yeah.
just to capture the attention. And so people understand, oh, I don't need good credit, but I can buy these properties on terms. That for me is probably the most important email in the sequence. Just knowing, just giving buyers kind of the assurance that they can buy from us and they don't need to pay a lump sum cash payment. That's specific to our strategy.
Yeah.
And that was proven very fruitful for our strategies. But so I think you kind of got to know your buyer, and then you could kind of distinguish what do they need to know, and what information is relevant to them in order for them getting from, okay, I don't know this company, I don't trust this company, to or I'm not sold on their value proposition, to, okay, this seems like a legitimate company, they're very trustworthy, and their value proposition is very, very strong, and they've got kind of exactly what I'm looking for.
Yep.
So for us, that specific email is probably the most important, because that is really, we know our customers so well, and that's really what they're looking for. They're looking for low down payment, low monthly payment. So they want terms, and offering obviously no credit checks, and knowing that they're approved is such a big thing for our buyers. So I would say that one stands out for me.
Got you. And then after you send out, you've listed here for us 5 emails. And then after that, you sort of start sending them regular emails that everybody gets on your list. So you mentioned that you'll send out something like a deal of the week or new properties. How often do you guys send out emails to your list?
Yeah, so I would say about 3 times per week we'll send out an email. And yeah, so we'll maybe new property coming to market. Maybe we got a deal, a few good terms deals, and maybe we got a cheaper cash deal or something like that. I think those are some of the kind of the offers that we're making to our list. And so I think 2 to 3 emails a week is a very healthy amount. If you're sending out 1 email a month, I would say you're probably not doing it properly. You need to really focus on really being consistent and sending out solid volume of emails on a regular basis.
Yeah, and I think there's always this sort of worry from people, like, hey, am I annoying the heck out of my list? And I think people really have to keep in mind. Now, this is just from me speaking out of experience, and let me know if I'm wrong here, Willie. But you sort of need to bombard them. If they're looking to buy, they will continue to read your emails, and those are the people that you want to get through to anyways. The people that are feeling annoyed, well, they're actually not interested, or maybe they just haven't been warmed up enough. But typically I find, like, if you think you're sending 1 email a week is too much already, you better think that over again, and and put it part of your systems. Maybe you can have your VAs do it, but yeah, you really got to be bombarding them with 2 or 3 emails, especially when you have something like a deal of the week. You want to continue to remind them of that sale. So I totally get where you're coming from with 3 emails a week, and I think, again, a lot of people might think, oh my gosh, that's quite a bit. Now, Willie, so you guys are, let's say you're sending out 3 emails a week. What kind of tools are you guys using to do all of this? And what do you guys typically like? This can be time intensive. What tools do you typically use, and is a VA involved with this?
Yeah, so the mail service that we use is just Mailchimp. Yep. Very basic. I know a lot of people use the same thing, so I wouldn't overthink it. I would use that, or Aweber is another one. There's another for deals of the week and that kind of thing. There's a countdown timer that you can use that's pretty helpful. Yep. I think the one that we used to use that's free is called Motion Mail.
Yeah,
something like that. So other than that, there's not really too many tools. So Mailchimp Motion Mail is pretty helpful. And then on there, on the emails, just a tactic that might be helpful is if you just make a button to kind of a credit card payment. I found that to be very helpful in terms of converting leads.
Right.
If you put a video on there, that's also very helpful. If you kind of walk through the property,
Right.
that also helps build trust. So maybe don't be afraid to throw on a video on there, and then make sure that you're making the ask. Because if you're just posting a property and sending people to a listing, it's more likely the lead is going to get lost. And so if you put a little bit of pressure and time pressure, so with the timer, and you make the ask and you have a link to the website, so you put a button, sends a link to payment so they can submit a down payment or a document fee or whatever, however you're going to do it.
Yeah.
That seems to be pretty helpful. And if you actually make a deal, make it a sweet deal that's actually like better than what you normally offer on a regular basis, say it's no document fee or like a $0 down or something like that, that has very much proven to work very well. And so those are some tactics, and in addition to some of those tools that we've been using that help to convert some leads.
And then with some of your emails, do you guys typically do it, or do you just hand it off to a VA? I mean, I'm assuming they're probably just going to, you guys typically will use the same format for all those emails.
Yeah. So I mean, we have some people in place making those emails for us. They'll write some copy for us, so we're not doing it ourselves. So, but I mean, as you're getting started, I would do it yourself until you have the capacity to hire kind of a marketing team. But yes, because I think if you change up the copy, you do things, you have, and you use your creative will to kind of influence and persuade, then you're going to do a little bit better than just sending it to a VA and doing it. So, but yeah, I wouldn't let that stop you. If you need to send it out to a VA for time constraints, I would say here's a template, go use it.
Yeah.
And just have a systematic approach of doing it. So So yeah, I mean, it depends how you want to do it, but I would try to at least mix up the copy a little bit on each email and mix up the offer a little bit.
Coming back to tools, you mentioned Mailchimp. Does Mailchimp, out of curiosity, does Mailchimp have free automation on there?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure. So Mailchimp is free up until a certain point, at least from what I remember.
I think that might have been the old. I think that might have been the old plan you got. You might have got grandfathered in, I believe. I was just going to mention, if it's not Mailchimp that you can use, I'm not sure. I might be incorrect. So whoever's listening, Willie might be completely 100% correct here. But recently, I found one, and a lot of people are starting to use. It's called MailerLite, which is good. It's almost like a fusion between Mailchimp and I used to use ActiveCampaign quite a bit. So you guys can check that out. That's like free up to 500, and you can tag people, and you can create automations up until, again, 500. So you guys might want to check that out. Now, what about, Willie, when you guys are capturing leads, are you guys doing any sorting? Like, what if you're selling in different counties? Are you just going to put them all in one list typically?
So our sales guy, he actually segments the list.
Okay.
He does a little bit of segmenting himself. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure how he's doing the segmenting. I know he does, and then
okay.
We do a little bit of segmenting. I'm not super involved in that, but we do a little bit of segmenting,
Gotcha.
Probably based on area and recency of the leads. Okay. That kind of thing.
Okay, and for those of you listening, segmenting, yeah, I mean it is what it sounds like. You're sort of, when a lead comes in, you can, some of the software allows you to tag them a certain way, or a certain label, or you can put them on certain list. So segmenting is also very powerful, and it gives you that chance to directly, because if you're selling in completely different states, say if you're working out of 2 states, you'll probably want buyer leads, in one state to only get properties of one, of that state that they're interested in. So that was just sort of a question I was interested to hear about. But it sounds like you guys have that on lockdown with your sales guy there. So awesome. What else am I here? I just kind of got lost away here. I think that's pretty much it. Willie, am I missing anything else in terms of, and sorry, for those of you guys who are listening, Willie has laid out literally the 5 emails that he's sending out, and it's in the downloadable here, but it really sort of, all the emails here he mentioned earlier are meant to either, build credibility, trust, and sort of also explain, how frictionless it is going to be working with him and his land investing. And this is, again, all taught inside of Land Investing Pros. They've got a whole section just on creating a sales funnel. So this is something that you guys can have a look at. And Willie, am I missing anything else here?
No, I think that's about it. But what I would say is, for those who are kind of thinking about this, trying to comprehend it, just think of your list that you're building and your online marketing, your email marketing as just a different channel, a different way of selling property. And so, just like Zillow, just like Facebook, just like Craigslist, those are different channels. So is your email list, and that's just another way to do it. For us, it's not even close. That is by far and away the most successful channel at selling property is that email list. And it's not while Facebook is second, it is a very, very distant second. And then maybe lands.
It's probably the cheapest way to sell too. I mean, yes, you're all those leads that didn't buy from you at first, they're ending up on inside your email list, and it's, like I tell a lot of people, it's literally gold. So, I don't doubt you. We've got a few guests that have come on here and said the same thing. Your email list is probably the best way to sell your properties, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. So I would say it's not easy to build your list. So it's going to take a while, but every time you add an email, it's all cumulative. So you have every email prior, and it just grows and grows and grows and snowballs and snowballs. And so it takes time. Don't expect it to be right away, but if you put in the work and you start building that list, it will bear fruit over time. So just hopefully you can think about it a little bit differently than maybe you have before.
Absolutely. And I think you're right. It's over time, and it does take time. I think people have to understand that building, list will take a while, and to see the sort of results will come at a later time. So it's sort of a long run game here. And I sound like a broken record here, but that email list, if Facebook or Craigslist or Zillow or whatever move they decide to do, and they, for whatever reason, don't want to allow for land to be sold like what Craigslist did last year, now you're at their mercy. So this, to me, what you guys have, creating sales funnels is super, super important. Willie, can you talk a little bit about your program and what you're doing with that program? Can you share a little bit with the listeners here?
Yeah, so it's effectively everything I've learned over the years, and I guess so far we've built out a pretty big business. We've got, at this point, we've got over 10 to 15 employees. We've got working at full to part time. We hit over $1 million in sales in a single month last month, and we're on pace to do that again, selling over 60 lots. And so we've really learned this and perfected it, and we're doing things much, much differently than anyone else in the industry. And so we have detailed kind of step by step every single process along the way, how we think about this business. And so in our course, it's over 20 lessons long. We detail step by step how to think about choosing markets, building lists, pricing lists, getting things out in the mail, and then it really big focus on internet marketing, which is severely lacking from a lot of the content out there. And so we've hopefully filled that gap, and so we provide different guidance on the marketing and sales piece, which I think is really the lifeblood of this business, and really the bottleneck for most people are having trouble selling property. That's really the bottleneck for them. And so hopefully we've really unlocked it. Our days on market is probably around 30 days. I would have to do a deeper dive, but my assumption is under 30 days at this point. Just because we've really perfected the marketing side of this. And so, it details everything that we've learned along the way. I've been doing this for over 3 years at this point. And so, and it really is for anyone who's looking to get started. It starts from scratch. Or if you're in the business and you're looking for a different perspective, it could give you plenty of guidance on how to change things up and how to start marketing and doing things differently. So, I mean, yeah, that's really what's included in the course.
It's really interesting that you say, this is essentially internet marketing. Land investing is literally internet marketing. It's just your products are just land and they're stationary, but that's all it is. And a lot of these strategies, yeah, I mean, it's what you're going to hear across the board from all different kind of internet marketing businesses. And this whole sales funnel is foundation across all boards. So it's something, again, I know that Willie, I've heard about this from you, not only from you, but some of our users have mentioned that, yeah, Willie is a huge proponent, like huge person that pushes this whole thing about building sales funnels and whatnot. So I encourage some of you guys that are listening that if you're interested in learning more about what Willie's doing, check out www.landinvestingpros.com. I got that right?
Yeah, www.landinvestingpros.com.
Awesome. Okay, well, Willie, if I haven't missed anything else, thanks again for coming on. And for all you guys that are listening and watching, make sure you head over to resource.reiconversion.com to grab the Land Investing Pros download for this podcast. Really, Willie talks about the 5 automated emails there, so you can have a look at what they're doing. But again, Willie, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thanks, Jesse. I really appreciate your time.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
Take care. Before you stop this podcast or head to the next episode, I want to personally thank you for listening to this episode of the REI Conversion Podcast. If you found this helpful, we'd greatly appreciate an awesome review and rating on whichever platform you're listening to this on. And if you have 2 minutes and wanted to step it up even more and help others, feel free to share this in other Facebook groups or pages or any communities, giving others a heads up of the REI Conversion Podcast or this specific episode that may help them on their investing journey. Once again, thanks very much for listening, and catch you on our next episode.